and welcome on this beautiful, beautiful Sunday morning. Here we are. Excuse me, your intuition wants to speak with you. You know, I actually want to acknowledge my mom, first off, because in the 1970s, 1980s, and 1990s, my mom traveled all across Canada and all around the world teaching about intuition, how it worked, your spirit guides, energy, and now my mom is she's still in Canada, but she's also in a home, long-term care home with dementia, and she's forgotten her journeys, but I have not. When I was 4 years old, I remember being very psychic. I would wander outside, I would talk with the trees and the rocks and have such deep and meaningful conversations about life. And so I want to say, first of all, that intuition is so much simpler and normal than we often give it credit for. So intuition, what is it? It's our ability, our natural ability to pick up. I feel like the mic is really loud. Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you. Is that okay now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, how can I do this without you? And so it's our ability to pick up on the energy that is always flowing everywhere. Now, have you ever walked into a room or a group of people and you could feel the tension? Or you could feel something going on? Or do you notice that there are some people that you naturally feel attracted to and some not so much? See, that's your intuition. It's natural. It's all part of who you are. I once saw this image, this photo of the brain. And it was the brain cells with the, the thought process and energy flowing through it. So you could see the kind of like, well, you know what brain cells look like, and then all these dendrites, and the electricity is flowing from one to the other. And I was like, wow. And as I kept reading this document, it wasn't that at all. It was actually an image taken of the sky with a particular camera that could take the images of energy. And so there was energy flowing from star to star, and the planets, and they're all connected, and it looked just like the brain. So energy is flowing all the time. It's flowing through you, flowing through me. For example, have you ever witnessed a lightning? Right? And what's one of the first things they tell us when there's a lightning storm? Get low, right? Because if you're the tall one, that lightning is going to channel through you. See, we're channeling energy all the time. And now, some of you have for quite some time been open to and practicing and experiencing your intuition. And do you remember way back when, and maybe not so long ago, intuition was called woo-woo? And it was just tossed aside like, oh, that's just games and not really a thing. And if you were experiencing intuition, you might even have experienced that judgment from other people, and that you might even have had to hide. You had to hide your skills or your abilities to not be judged. And we were taught to fear intuition. I'm going to come back to that in a moment. But I also want to acknowledge, too, that there are a lot of you as well that maybe it hasn't been 20 or 30 years that you've been working with your intuition, but it's been getting stronger and stronger. Do you notice that you're more sensitive to things? Do you notice you're picking up on things you hadn't picked up on before? This is so exciting. We're waking up as a species, and here we are. Let me talk briefly about the why we were taught to fear intuition. Intuition is your path to your own inner wisdom. It's your path to trusting yourself. So imagine, there you are, your intuition's flowing, you're listening, it's communicating, you're trusting yourself, you're stronger inside, you're listening to your inner wisdom, then no one can control you. No one can tell you what's right, what's wrong. They can't tell you what to believe in because you are listening to your own deep wisdom and the integrity in your spirit which tells you that. So, yeah, right? It's just so exciting. And so by keeping you cut off from your intuition, it means that, without that connection with yourself, that it's so much easier to tell you what to believe and what to do. And you learn that you have to depend on external sources to tell you that. So let's come back to energy is everywhere. So imagine that your consciousness is naturally reaching out there, your energy flowing through your body. The energy around you is naturally communicating with you. In a moment, I'm going to guide you in a little experience, and I want to share with you a story. Now, I have many stories on intuition in my books. I'm offering them later. But this is one that really demonstrates this really well. In my family, there's just me and my brother. My dad committed suicide. He suffered depression most of his life. My brother suffers depression, and we love each other dearly, and we're very different. He isn't interested in anything intuition or anything related, and I respect that. Sometimes. You can't help being a sister, right? I just love him. But anyway, and I used to live in New Zealand, so I lived in New Zealand for 30 years. My brother was in Canada. And what I learned is that if I contacted my brother on the wrong day, at the wrong time, he would be very upset and irritated. His emotions were very inflamed. Now, by the way, if you meet my brother, he's done lots of work on this, and this is 20 years ago. Right? And so I learned to only contact him at Christmas, and that was it. Because otherwise, when he got upset with me, he wouldn't talk with me for maybe a month, maybe 2 months, and it just hurt. So, best to leave him to his own emotions. And anyway, I was preparing for leading an intuition class that night, and the doorbell rings. Now, the doorbell would normally make a doorbell sound, ding dong. But this time the doorbell sang a song, and it went, "It's a small world after all." It wasn't singing like that, but it was like, da 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 da. And what I had learned is that the house we lived in, the doorbell was a portal. It was a portal for beings on the other side to reach out and to communicate with me. So I knew that. And then the doorbell would make all kinds of sounds. But this time it was making a sound I hadn't heard before, and I had a feeling it was my dad. And so I said, "Okay, Dad, if that's you, make the doorbell go again." Bingo, doorbell goes. So I sit down, close my eyes, and I said, "Okay, Dad, come on in. What's up?" And he says, "Call your brother." And I'm like, "No, I'm not calling him. He'll get upset." And besides, here I am in New Zealand, and it's in Canada. I don't know what time it is. And then his voice gets urgent. "Call your brother! Call your brother!" Well, I got chills everywhere. I get on that phone. I'm looking at what time it is, and it's almost the middle of the night. And I'm like, "Oh no, he's never going to talk with me." And Greg picks up the phone, and his voice is groggy. And I said, "Hey, bro, it's your sis. What's up?" Silence. And then he says, "I wonder if this is how Dad felt." He was about to kill himself. Yeah. So Energy is communicating with you all the time. And it's a natural way of living your life. And so, you want to try something out?
Yeah.
So close your eyes. Close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, allow your body to relax. Uncross your legs and your arms. Allow the energy in your blood to flow through your body freely. And slow down your breath. Nice long inflow, nice long outflow. And as you slow your breath, as you relax your body, allow your breath to soften your face. Allow your face to soften. Allow your mouth to soften. As you keep breathing in, nice and slow, and breathing out, nice and slow. Allowing your breath to soften your belly. And as you breathe, allowing your belly muscles to relax. Allowing your shoulders to relax. Breathing nice and slow. And allowing your breath to soften and open your heart. And as you relax, bringing awareness into your heart and your consciousness in your heart, and allowing your consciousness and your heart energy to expand in your body. Just feeling your consciousness expand. Feeling your consciousness and your heart just to expand a little bit beyond your body. Allowing your consciousness to expand just in this area here, under the tent, or beyond the tent. Allowing your consciousness to expand out to the gardens. And allowing your consciousness to expand out beyond this piece of land and going from ocean to ocean. And expanding your consciousness beyond, out into the cosmos. And very gently, as you bring awareness to your nice deep breathing, bringing your consciousness back into this garden. Back into your body. And wriggling your fingers and your toes. And gently opening your eyes. Welcome back. How many people your consciousness went beyond your body? Just raise your hand. How many people went out to the garden? Out to the cosmos? And how many people had that little chatter, mind chatter sometimes. Hey, what are you doing here? How does this work? What's it supposed to be doing? How am I supposed to feel anything here? Yeah, so let me talk about that a little bit as we go into another exercise here, is that, you see, it's natural for you to sense energy anyway, but your ego mind has some opinions about that. Your ego mind wants to figure it out, wants to understand it. I mean, after all, think of our education system. We got educated right here, in the box. Keep it in the box, right? And so that's what happens. But when you are, as we are, we're multidimensional beings. It's not just people who are born that way. No, we are naturally that way. We're taught to not be. And so as you remember who you are, then you are going to experience the ego mind that's trying desperately to understand, of course. It's trying desperately to file it into boxes and files that it knows and that is familiar. And the practice of intuition and working with energy, however, is like it's so beyond what the logical mind can make sense of. So that's also part of the practice, is to just notice that part of your body, the ego mind, is going to chatter, and then your job's kind of like yoga, like a meditation. Just keep coming back to the energy. Keep coming back to your body. Get out of your head. So, I want to do 2 more practices if we have time. So one of them is, just rub your hands together like that. Like I know, some of you already know this one, right? You go like, and so just rub them really good. And now hold your hands about an inch apart. And maybe just, kind of go back and forth a little bit. And bring your awareness to your hands, to the cells in your hands. Get out of your mind thinking, am I supposed to feel anything? What am I supposed to feel? What's it supposed to feel like? Just, and feel instead. You might feel a little tingling, and your mind goes, yeah, that's because you were rubbing your hands together. But just notice, right? It's always trying to invalidate and figure it out. You might notice temperature, hot, cold. You might notice some vibration. Now try this. Take your hand and put it towards someone else's. And don't touch, but just go a little bit back and forth, just to see. Notice what it feels like, if you feel anything. And just pull your hand back and forth. Just picking up whatever, just pay attention to the subtle. Now try out somebody else, because all energy is different, right? It's all different. Just notice it. All right. So, one of the practices with working with intuition, right? It's like you got to bring awareness to the subtle. Because your mind, your ego mind, is going to want to invalidate what you're picking up on. But that's all part of our intuition, remember, teaching you just to live in your head. This here, this body here, your body there, is a divine piece of technology. Learn how to work with it. Learn how to channel your energy through it. Learn how it communicates with nature, with other beings all the time around you. Has anyone heard of the telepathy tapes? Yeah. Okay, so the telepathy tapes, it's the name of I don't know if it's actually the name of the project, but there's a woman, Kai Dickens, and she is a researcher. She started researching and she discovered that people who have autism, who are non-speaking, communicate telepathically and pick up telepathically. And the evidence is so obvious that it's created this huge project And so you can check it out. Apparently, it's gone so viral that it's even bigger than Joe Rogan. I don't keep touching all of those things, but okay, sounds pretty good. But you might, it's on podbean.com if you're interested in looking it up and having a listen to some of the research there. So everyone picks up energy differently. You learn to develop it. You can sometimes see images, pick up feelings. Maybe when you had your hand there with someone else, you're not used to paying attention to things that are subtle. Sometimes things have to hit you between the between the eyes with a 2x4, right? You've had those Mack trucks hit you. I know I have when you're not listening. But what if we could pay attention? What if we could bring attention to where we don't usually bring it? What if it's not in our heads? What if we know we're not having to analyze it and figure it out and put it in a box? What if there is a whole other world happening and all you need to do is bring your attention inside to the subtle? What if you picked up a lot more than you really thought? So I want to share with you a little brief story and then do another practice if we can fit this in time. Okay. And so this one, I was on a shamanic journey. I was in Arizona, in Sedona, and I saw Bell Rock. Anyone has seen Bell Rock before? I mean, it's called Bell Rock because it's this huge red rock, the shape of a bell. And the moment I saw her, I went, oh, I gotta climb her. And so I went out and I didn't follow the path that they had outlined there for you. I jumped the fence and climbed as high as I could. And it was amazing. And then it was time to come down. Uh-oh. Yeah, I'm pretty resourceful. And I could not find the path down. And so this is what I did. I closed my eyes. And I put out a call telepathically to the energy, the universe, and I said, okay, please show me the next step down. And then I opened my eyes, and the very first thing that got my attention was a big eagle flying in the sky, and it was flying, and then it turned around, and it went back the other way. And so that was information. Remember, the energy, it's information all the time. And so I'm like, the ego mind gets involved. What? I already went that way. I already looked over there. There's nothing over there. And I knew though, don't listen to that. And so I went back the other way. Sure enough, I find the next step down. But then I get stuck again, right? And I'm on a ledge. And there's like straight cliff down. There's like this huge leap. No, not possible. And then I realized that I was trying to figure it out from my head. My head didn't climb the rock. My body did. And I went, okay, head, you're offline. Body, take over. And then I moved immediately before my ego mind started to, and I felt like I was a jaguar. And there was a part of me conscious, and I was moving, doing moves. I didn't think that I was in my late 50s at the time. I didn't think, I really can't do that. No, I was doing within 5 minutes I was down. Yeah. Breathing a great sigh of relief, and grateful for, excuse me, your intuition wants to speak with you, because it really does. So I want you to practice something, and it's not climbing mountains, although you might want to do that too. But this is that particular technique that I used. And so bring to mind something you'd like clarification on. Keep it simple. But so it could be, maybe there's a particular family member and you want clarification on, there's a conflict there. Okay, so how can I take this to the next step? It might be, how can I communicate with my intuition better? So just get something in your mind, form it really simple as a question. Okay, everyone got that? So you got something you're going to work with. Now, in a moment, I know some of you are already gone there. In a moment, I'll have you close your eyes and relax. And when you open your eyes, the very first thing that gets your attention is what you're looking for. It might be a sound, and it might be something visual. But the very first thing that comes, just go there and just gather whatever information it might have for you. So, closing your eyes, relax your body, and relax your breath. As you relax your breath, slow your breath. And bring to mind that question you have. And put it out telepathically, out to the universe. Very good. Now, in a moment you'll open your eyes, and when you do, just look for the first thing that gets your attention. And open your eyes. And just look at whatever it was that got your attention, and look for whatever information that is that can contribute to whatever you were asking. In the intuition courses that I run, it can be really helpful to work in small groups as well. So after doing an exercise like this, you would speak with 1 or 2 other people, because sometimes someone else can see the information more clearly and more easily than you can. But just with that, in the time that we have, how many people got just an inkling of a little bit of information that could be helpful for what you're looking? Yeah. Okay. All right. See? You're psychic. You always have been. Nobody told you that. If there is enough interest, I will run an intuition course here. I have on the table over there where I'll also be selling my books, which are just filled with stories of intuition. I think some of you bought my books last time. But there's also a sign-up sheet. You can put your name down if you would like to be notified about that course. So, any questions? Have we got time?
I can't resist. I have an older brother who's a PhD subatomic particle physicist. No common sense. And despite our family history, refused to get the colonoscopy. And then one time my older sister gave him a call and said, "Tim, I had a dream. You're doing it now." He had stage 3 colon cancer, almost stage 4. That dream saved his life. Intuition. Anyways, are there any, before we do the questions, don't do what I just did. This is not your chance to pontificate, tell stories, or anything like that. Asking questions. Go to our website and sign up for your own talk. This is Leanne's talk. So if you have a question for Leanne, this is your opportunity. And Leanne, I do ask if for any reason that it's clear to you that people have not heard the question, please repeat.
Hi, Leanne. Thank you for that, for the talk so far. It's been wonderful. I'm wondering if you experienced throughout your life social problems through feeling the way you feel, that you're in touch with your intuition and with the spirits, and I'm wondering if however you dealt with that throughout your life, maybe it would be nice to hear about that.
Okay, thanks. Did you hear the question?
Yeah.
I just want to clarify the question. Is it that you're asking in being very intuitive, very young, what that was like and people's judgment of that? Or okay, okay, thank you. Yeah. Well, so first of all, I didn't have the, I guess, the perspective of life now as I do now, and so it was very hard. At first, I thought I was making up this stuff. I could see auras around everybody, and I know too. I can see heads, nodding. How many other people had stuff like this when you were younger? You experienced this. Maybe it's gotten stronger, or maybe you suppressed it, right? Because of the way that you were treated. And I remember I was 8 years old at school, and I could see this white energy following the teacher, because they had the blackboard back then, right, written on that. And I turned to the young boy beside him, and I said, "Hey, what's that white thing following the teacher?" And I learned very quickly, Leanne, don't say what you see. And I also learned to doubt it. So even though my mother that was a little bit later, in my teens, but I thought, I'm making this up. It can't really be true. But I couldn't stop seeing it. Yeah, so I just didn't tell anybody. I kept it to myself. But that also led me to be really insecure, like painfully insecure. People just wouldn't, I'm speaking now because I think things like this need to be spoken to, because we're not naturally insecure. Have you ever seen an insecure baby? Right? So it's like we learn to be that way because there's something to hide or be ashamed of, that like right here isn't okay. There's something wrong with me. So then life becomes a constant journey about trying to fix yourself. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. Great questions.
Thank you so much. So you didn't say this, but I'm curious to know, do you believe that we all have loving spirit guides?
I'm interested to know why you said loving, because there was something there that you're communicating about that.
Oh, it's just been my experience,
Okay.
and that's what I've been told. So I'm wondering if you believe that too.
Thank you. Thank you. There was a lot of emphasis on loving, and I thought, okay, have you had an experience that? So thank you. From what it looks like to me, there is energy and energy patterns everywhere. This is like the weather. I call it like the weather. So sometimes you've got beautiful sunny days, and other times you've got clouds and stuff. And then there's storms. So here's the thing. The more that you tune into the energy field, energy consciousness that you are, you've got to take responsibility. Who are you tuning into? What radio station are you going to tune into? Are you going to tune into the pub down the street and ask the pub energy there for some advice on what your next step is? I don't think so, right? So you want to tune into the highest radio channel because you channel energy. So I want to first of all say that because, look, there's an array of all kinds of different energy, just like there's an array of fruit in the market. And it's not that one's good or bad, it's different. And it has different frequencies. And so there's a whole other level of responsibility to claim here as you continue remembering who you are. Because that's what this is about. And so do I believe that everyone has loving, supportive guides? That's been my experience, that we have a team working with us, that there are higher consciousness that work with us, that you can tune into. Mine are communicating with me all the time. Right? So yes.
Thank you, Leanne. I'm really fascinated by the information that you began teaching about intuition when you were 13 years old. And I'm really curious if you can remember, like, what compelled you to do that? What was your message? What did you know by the time you were 13 that you wanted to let other people in on?
Thank you for asking that. You know, I was involved in a spiritual program, and this is the one that my mother traveled around the world teaching with. And they had it so beautifully organized, and it was for people of all ages who were ready to and wanted to develop their intuition. And they had these groups that were organized, which, you know, the group leader was there, they got training, and you had a book, and it said, okay, so read this quote, ask people to meditate, work with their intuition, get some insight, do this exercise. And so there I was in this group, I'm 12, and I'm learning all of this, and it's, I mean, I just feel like I'm coming home, I'm talking to people who I can be so honest and upfront and real with. And then once the group was finished, it was like, I don't know, 3 months long, then they said, who wants to lead the next group? And I'm the only kid, right? They're all adults. Nobody raises their hand. And I'm like, you're kidding. You know, and I'm sitting on mine. And remember now, I'm shy. You know, but nobody else was going to raise their hand. And I just could hardly wait. So I'm like, I will. Put my hand up. And then, and so there were all these people who did not want to do the group because a 12-year-old was, a 13-year-old was leading it. But my mother was around and she said, look, I am just going to show up. I'll just be there in the background, so if anything goes wrong, I'll step in. And so I was like, I don't want to be there, Mom. I'm going to do it by myself. You know. But my mom was there, and the whole group were adults, and it was amazing. You know, and they shared afterwards that, you know, there was just no difference in age, that we are all souls just listening. And I had a book to follow. And I'm very grateful for that, because that we all learn somewhere, right? We learn by watching somebody else or being inspired by something, and then we pick that up. We create our own thing from that. Thank you.
What was the book?
What was the book? That the group book that was? You know, I forget. The program was called the Inner Peace Movement, which still does exist, but it has changed very much from when I was involved in that, I don't know, what, 50 years ago?
Hi, Leanne. I have a question. I'm interested in your observations of what kinds of arrays of energy or intuition do you think are available in the present moment to people with dementia? You said your mom has lost the memory of her journey, but do you think she experiences that in the present moment?
That is a wonderful question. You know, and as you say that, and I'm just tuning into my guides, and they're showing me, just because her mind, it's her logical ego mind that is shutting down. It is not her ability to pick up on energy. She is still picking up on that. She isn't necessarily as conscious of it. Do you know, like when I go to visit her, the nurses tell me it's like having a mini Buddha there. Because my mom will just spurt randomly, right? Just spurt out these wise words. And, it's in her. But it's not from her memories anymore. It's more from the reality that it is of energy that the conscious thinking mind can't always fathom. Yeah. Thank you for that question. And I think that's why I'm so passionate about the work I do. Because you and I, we are not our thoughts. We are not our thoughts. You are not your head brain. You are not your body. And it leaves the question, then who are you? You are divine consciousness channeling through this beautiful technology you have here. And the more we remember that and you sink into your wisdom and your strength and your trust inside, this is the new world. This is the new earth we're creating right here inside of us. So I see there's, I'm just kind of feeling it might be time to, I don't want to go over time. Okay.
We're on my way. While I'm going, I can't resist. Leanne, you mentioned early on that you believe awareness and intuition is increasing. Whereas when I look out, it feels like the world is going to hell in a handbasket. What makes you so optimistic?
Well, we have a choice. All of that exists. It's kind of like this sign right here. So if you're only looking at the purple, what exists? Purple, right? Because that's all you're paying attention to. If you're paying attention to the circle, and you're just paying attention to the circle, what exists? It's a circle. And so all of that is there. And what is it that you are going to focus on? I mean, the other thing that we're learning is that our energy goes where our attention goes. So what do you want to feed the world? What do you want to feed your body? Then you've got to manage your attention. Because if your attention is on all that crappy news,
you're in trouble.
Yeah! It's like, get your head out of there. It's like that fly. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Lynn. A lot of us who live here came here because we have this great feeling for the place where we are. I mean, it's beyond the friendly people and the great weather and all. There's a really good vibe many of us feel here. What do you feel physically, spiritually at this south shore of Lake Chapala in this area? What are you intuit?
The North Shore.
No, north?
We're north.
I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. Canada's that way. Wait a minute. Cleveland's here. Okay. Yeah, I know. But Cleveland turns me around. But
You mean this
north
land?
is up there. So what is? I'm sorry. I took you somewhere. I didn't mean to do that. How do you feel about this? What's your vibe? What's your?
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, I got the question. So there's something really special happening here, right?
Right.
We can feel it. We're all part of it. And it is what is seducing us. Who's that? There's somebody who said, I'm being seduced, in being here. And so something is happening. And you don't have to go very far to find somebody who is an amazing healer, someone who's a psychic, someone who does astrology, someone who, what?
Stay in the camera.
Oh. And we don't have to go very far to find these people. So we're being gathered here. And as we're gathered here, and we know that, right? Where we begin to gather, there's the energy lifts. There's something that's like a synergy that's even greater than when we're all by ourselves. Like when you meditate and you sit with meditate with other people, do you notice it's easier to meditate? You can go a little further when you're with other people. And so there's something happening here. Exactly what? Oh, I don't know, but it's getting brighter. The veil, whatever veil, energetic veil, and forgetting was there. It's just, it's being lifted. And I'm saying that. How the heck do I know? I don't know, but I just have to ask you. How many people feel more alive, more awake, right? So something's lifted, right? Let's call it a veil. Why not? Like it just fits the bill. Yeah, so there's something very powerful that's happening here. And it's like, yeah, I'm so glad we're here together.
This is quick. What's the difference or relationship between synchronicity and this?
Synchronicity and what, sorry?
And intuition. How are they connected, or are they separate?
Ah, got it, okay. So the question is, what's the difference between synchronicity and intuition? You know, if I just let myself kind of sink into that question, it's as if, from my perspective, and remember there's a lot of POVs, right? A lot of points of view. When I am in communication with and listening to the energy, then I'm going to show up in the right place at the right time. And if you are listening to that energy as well, however, and you're going to show up at the right place at the right time. And it may be that our mind or our brain interprets that as synchronicity, as something like that, because our mind is always trying to understand these things. And there's nothing wrong with that. It also helps other of us to understand intuition even more when something is analyzed, because some of us have stronger minds and brains, and others we're more sensitive, more kinesthetic. I think that's actually the gift that we bring each other, is just our diversity and our different way of thinking and our different way of seeing things. I mean, it's such a beautiful question, because I get to sink into it, and it's like, oh yeah. For me, from where I'm looking, that is the logical mind naming something. Because intuition is like everything. Yeah, thank you so much for asking that question.
Okay, our final question.
Hi, Leanne. First of all, thank you for a great talk. My question is simple. Because of your strong intuition, I'm wondering, especially in your teenage years, if it ever became overwhelming when you were with a group of people and feeling all these different energies coming from these folks, if that ever became overwhelming for you, and dealing with that and separating those that you felt closer to and those that you felt you should avoid.
Yes. Yes is the answer to that. And I think that also has fed into the intense insecurities, and I know, as I speak this, I know that there are many of you out there who feel the same. I used to have horrendous gut aches before I would go to any social event, and these are people I knew, and it was like there was just so much, and I didn't even know necessarily how to interpret that or what was going on, but there was just so much energy to deal with and to interpret, and I didn't realize back then I was picking all of it up. And I mean, even still to this day, I have to, I'm just really conscious of that. But here's the thing. It's not about protection, because I've had people ask me, well, how do I protect myself from bad energy and stuff? It's like, no, protection is from fear. You start working with that, and it means you're holding fear inside. And so what I have focused on instead is strengthening this. So what does that mean? That means listening to your intuition and trusting that. And it doesn't mean that life is always going to be full of pink lollipops and happy and everything. No, that is the ego mind interpreting what should happen and what shouldn't happen and what's good and what's bad. Maybe you came in here with a lesson as a soul to learn that you wanted to experience heartbreak. And so isn't your intuition going to guide you to the very thing that your soul asked for? Yes. And you can do this. You can do this. You've got it. Yeah. So it's, I hope I answered that. I feel like I went off on a tangent, but. So I want to just thank you. I want to thank you so much for your attention, because I realize how precious that is. And as we come together with our attention, we create this very sacred now moment. And so bless your heart, bless your whole being. I hope we get to journey together. I'll be over there. You can sign up your interest in the intuition course if you'd like, or you can get my books. And thank you.